Hey, 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 I am Brianna Harmon, and this is the Millennial Mommies Club, an original podcast dedicated to all of the millennial mommies out there killing the game. Whether you are single, married, or expecting, this is the place to be during your 15 minutes of downtime. Welcome to the Millennial Mommies Club.
I'm a fun mom.
I am a patient mom.
I am a conscious mom.
I'm a creative mom.
I'm a millennial mom.
What's up, mamas, and welcome back to another episode of the Millennial Mommies Club on Ebony, covering Black America Podcast Network. Today, I have a woman in here who truly is everything wellness, beauty for our women out here. The founder of Spa Theory, Alyshah Leilani. How are you, beautiful?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing great and super excited to just get into this episode with you because not only are you everything health and wellness, spa, like for women, you also have a great story of where you are and how you got to where you are today. From the gun violence experience to being an immigrant, you have a baby, you're married, and you are just on the go, ma'am. Like,
Yes.
I mean, I want to first get into Spa Theory. So that is something that you created for, I wouldn't say for moms specifically, but for women to be able to have on-the-go access to their just everything self-love and self-care.
Yes.
Tell me where that was created, founded in your mind to start this.
Yes. So it started with a college project that I had to do for an entrepreneurship class. And it was like, okay, I need to come up with a business idea to graduate. And it's just a paper. I need to do it. Got through that and I had already graduated, and my husband, I don't know, he never reads, but he was going through cleaning some spaces, and he goes like, Alyshah, you should really do this. And I'm like, no, it's okay. It's a lot of work. I don't want to do it. I'm comfortable. But there was this inner fire that if I ever go into doing something with business, it would have to be this. I just had to have that fire burning in to make it be like, okay, let's go. It's showtime. And I have prior experience of working as a receptionist for over 8 years at a spa. And I've also been a mobile makeup artist. So I knew that, I was instilling confidence in people when I was showing up at their door, making them all glam for their event. And they were like, oh my God, I feel so much better. You made me look so good. Oh. And instantly you see that rush of confidence that comes through in women. That doesn't mean that makeup is going to fix your inner confidence, but for the time being, it works. And then when I was working at the spa, there were moms who were like, I wish y'all would come home, coming here with the baby is such a pain, sometimes it's sitting in the traffic, they don't have time, there is no sitter. And, when they're getting a facial or something done and the baby wakes up and she starts crying, the mom just feels embarrassed. Even the baby's doing what she's supposed to do, right? So, and I just feel it's not fair for the baby to be in an environment that's not comfortable for them. So when I really decided that, okay, I want to do this seems like my calling, let me try it. And I was like, okay, let's go. And we just started with a basic website. And what made it go through faster was the pandemic. So not many people would say that their business did great during the pandemic, but mine did.
That's what I was going to say. The pandemic was a spot where either your business failed or it was hard to get your business rolling because it was such a tough time.
But the business did so much better because most of the salons were closed. A lot of sanitization and those issues were there. And especially with salons, right? You have so much cross-contamination. And I was 4 months pregnant myself. That meant I cannot be a mobile provider anymore with, traveling with the baby in my womb and then just,
access to so many germs and everything. Yes.
So I couldn't do that. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do now? And that's when I was like, this is showtime for Spa Theory. This is when it needs to happen. So we started the company when I was 4 months pregnant. August 2020, and we were like, okay, let's do it. And within a year, the business rolled into 6 figures. And it was just that, okay, there is a need. We have proof of concept. Now we can start investing in the business. So that's pretty much how it started. So it waited until it was time for it to come through.
And that's how God does his work, right? He waits until it's completely not only just a thought, but a full plan has been thought through, and now we're able to push forward.
Yes.
And I mean, as a mom myself, having a mobile spa come to me would be a dream come true.
Yes.
Because of the fact that, like you said, I have an issue taking my girls to get my nails done in the nail salon. So I can only imagine. Now, with you, what are the services that you all provide within the mobile spa?
So we do massages, facials, body wraps, hair and makeup. So this morning, literally, there was a Spa Theory provider who came at my place and who did the hair for me. We do nails. So all the services that we need on the go. We are always adding new services every quarter. We're looking into lashes and other stuff, but they're not there yet. But we keep adding services as we see the demand for it.
Wow. Now, moving a little bit from now, that's your business side. That is Alyshah, who is the owner of Spa Theory.
Yes.
Now let's get into Alyshah, who is the mom. Let's get into that conversation. Yes. How has that transition been from you going from, I'm 4 months pregnant with this business that I'm trying to get off the ground, but now my baby's here and I'm still trying to run it after going into six figures.
Yes. I always think that I gave birth to twins because my baby was in the diaper and my business was also pretty much in the diaper. Yes. So it was like feeding both. And if I wasn't able to get through both, that would mean that, it's not somebody's gonna suffer. So it was very important. But I feel like prioritizing and then boxing when I start to work on the baby, then I have to put my blockers on and be like, blinders on.
How do you put your blinders on? Because I try to work with my kids and it's like, mommy, 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 or I feel bad because my blockers are on and they're over there and I'm tuning it all out.
Yes. And that's when, support comes in. So I did this activity with my therapist where we drew a plan that what do I need? What do I currently have? And where are the gaps? And we figured out that, okay, whether it's food or, whether it's emotional support, I have good family support. But when it comes to cleaning and, making sure the house is on point and the laundry is done, that's something that can be delegated. And that's not going to get the best time or passion out of me. Like nobody's passionate about doing laundry, right? So those are the things I delegated. And that's still being done. It's on autopilot. And then, I have times where I work from 8 a.m. to 2:30. And that's the time where my baby goes to Montessori and she takes a nap. So 6 hours, I get to work and I try to go to the office because, sometimes when you're working from home, it's just, you cannot divide the two. You feel like, okay, let me go get coffee. Okay, maybe with the coffee, I'll have a show. 15 minutes, that's all I watch on Netflix. And it's like, shoot, I just wasted 2 hours here and then mindlessly scrolling. When you change your environment, you get focused because your mind knows that this office space for me to here is to work. It's not here to talk about my baby or think about my baby. When I get home, I know that after 8 p.m., I'm not checking my phone. Everything else can wait. Usually around 4 to 6 p.m., my time is with the baby. I am checking my phone, but I know that everything that was urgent has already been taken care of. And then every quarter, me and my husband plan a 3 or 4 day vacation where we make sure that we tell our team members that only contact us if somebody's dying. And that's in the spa industry, that's never the case. So nobody should be dying. So nobody gets contacted and we really have that one-on-one time because whether it's a business, whether it's the baby, whether it's the relationship, you will get what you put in. So if you're not putting in time and if you're not prioritizing, you wouldn't get out that happiness that you really want to feel.
I agree. And I mean, now you're balancing being a mom too, though, in a sense, right? Because
I think balance is such an overused word.
It is.
There can never be balance. I feel there is integration. So for an example for that would be 2 weeks ago, my baby was super sick to the point where, her temperature was really high. She needed me. And at that time, I cannot think about work. There won't be balance. Hey, 50% baby, 50% work. It had to be 100% baby. And then when I was on the Bravo show, that was literally 100% work. I could not think of the baby. And it got to a point where the shoot was going on. And, I was texting my husband, did she eat? Because at that time when the show was done, she was still on mommy milk.
Okay.
And I was pumping and I was making sure, it's being heated properly and things like that. So he literally had to text me back that you are there, just focus there. I'm here. I got it.
Wow.
So he was like, put your blinders on because, if you're not putting that on, it's a problem.
Yes.
You cannot be in Blue Ridge and think about what's happening to my baby in Atlanta. She's fine.
Yes.
And also learning to trust the people that you delegate. So whether it's, I'm delegating it to my family or am I delegating it to my sitter? I need to be trusting that she knows her job and she will do her best. Mm-hmm. So that is very important. If you're just going to gatekeep around them and be like, oh, let me do it. I'll show you how to do it.
What's the point of having them?
Then you have to let go. You have to learn to be like, okay, they know what they're doing and they're being paid for what they're doing. So they got it.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, there is so many layers to peel back of who you are and where you have come to today. So we're going to take a short break. But when we come back, we're going into Alyshah now, the wife.
Yes.
Because that is a whole nother title that we have to add also to who Alyshah is. Yes. So we'll be right back. You guys are listening to the Millennial Mommies Club on Ebony, covering Black America Podcast Network.
You are listening to the Ebony, covering Black America Podcast Network.
Welcome back, mamas, to another episode of the Millennial Mommies Club on Ebony, covering Black America Podcast Network. As you guys already know, we took a short break with the owner and founder of Spa Theory, Alyshah Leilani, and we already have been peeling back this onion. We've talked about Spa Theory and you being that boss woman there. We've discussed the mom, Alyshah, and how you are just navigating and trying to not overuse the word balance, but you use the word. Say that for me again. What'd you say?
Integration.
Integrating that. Now we're getting into wife Alyshah and those challenges and how you've had to navigate being not only a mom, not only an owner, but also a wife.
Yes.
Let's get into that.
I truly believe that, marriage is the foundation of all the success you're going to have in life. So if your marriage isn't going well, there will be other parts of life where you won't be happy. So that's like a foundation. But it also comes that we are partners and there is equal partnership. That doesn't mean that if I'm cleaning, he needs to clean. It's basically if I'm cleaning or if I'm expected to do the cleaning, he's going out and making money. And, there's a lot of things that are going on Instagram that, why are women expected to do this? And why are women, as if we are in some sort of competition to be equal with men. And I feel like somehow that's just in our minds.
Well, it's also something that we've been trained to think.
Yes.
For centuries.
Yes.
We've been taught that the wife is just to stay home, cook, and clean while the man goes out and provides.
Yes. And I think the women are now rebelling against it. But I feel like, the sun and the moon play two different roles and they're different. They're not competing against one another. And yes, we need both. Yes. So I really, truly think that a husband and a father is the son in the relationship. He goes out, he works, and the child feels secure when the father is around. But at the same time, a child needs a mother too, because the kids are like the stars in the marriage, right? So the stars can only shine when the moon is around.
Oh, wow.
So just knowing that they are not supposed to be equal, they're already equal, but different. Yeah. And that would really keep the marriage where the husband and wife are not competing with each other, but more so looking within themselves as to where I need to work. Your partner's, I'm sure you've heard it in many other interviews, that your partner's job is to not bring you happiness.
Oh, my goodness.
Happiness is your own responsibility.
Yes.
And, a lot of times we portray our own insecurities on the other person, and the other person doesn't even mean to say that, or it doesn't even think like that. So we need to look within and see, where am I the problem? Because the most thing you can control is your thoughts, your actions, how can you change yourself? Yeah. You cannot control the other person. You cannot control what they think, what they say. You can control how you handle it. Yeah. So
can't control it and you can't fix it. You cannot fix and or change a man. Nope. I've learned by my own trial and error.
Yes.
Now, you said something earlier with us talking that behind every man, there's a great woman. But behind every woman, there is a great man.
Yes.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on what you mean by that?
Absolutely. So with that, I mean that just like behind every man, there is a woman. I really think behind every woman is also a man. It could be a father, it could be the husband, it could be a co-founder. And in my case, I was lucky. I have all three, my father who trusted us and who let us have the education, because in India, getting girls educated is not the norm. They just feel like, oh, you marry them off. So, there's a waste of investment and schools are not free there. But he was like, no, I want my girls to be as educated and as forward as men. So he was the first person behind my success. The second was my husband. So, you often end up marrying the person that you see in your father. And my husband has been a great partner. He doesn't impose himself on me. He doesn't make the rules for me. We are equal, and he understands that. And my third case, my business mentor, is also my co-founder. His name is Chris, and he supports me through like all the business advising, consulting. He guides me through it. So I really think behind every successful woman are three men.
I love that. That was a great way to break it down. Now, you just seem, from the outside looking in right now with this concept, that it has just been amazing.
Yes.
That you know everything about relationships, but I'm sure it took time to get there. I'm sure there were some
3 years of therapy.
Tell me about that therapy experience, because that has, the way you vocalize this is truly like the other end of the bumpy road.
Yes.
How did therapy kind of make your relationship better with your husband?
So when you know yourself better, you know what you want, and you know what you're able to articulate what you need. So it's not the other person's fault that they're not giving me what I want. It's my fault that I'm not able to ask them clearly what I need. So being in therapy has allowed me to learn more about myself. It's every week, a 1 hour of reflection. What is working? What is not working? What is a toxic habit that I need to get rid of? And we all have a lot of toxic habits. So, whether it's working through judgments, childhood trauma, gun violence for me, a lot of these things were worked through. And I felt like as kids, we were told not to feel your emotions. A crying kid is a bad kid.
Yeah.
Like, be a good child, don't cry, So a lot of emotions were suppressed. And therapy was a place where I was not judged. I could be myself. I could work on how you're working on the onion layers of me. I was able to work through of what is really inside of me. And being more emotionally intelligent. And, when I started therapy, it was a lot of shock to my family members that, this is the doctor for crazy people or who need mental help, It is still very, in the South Asian community, it is still very not looked good upon. Like, I don't know how to say it, but it's like, oh, she's going to see a therapist, she has a problem. Like, it's very like, you don't talk about it. And I feel like every family member that I meet, whenever they talk to me about their issues, I'm like, you should go in therapy.
Yeah.
And my husband is like, you're obsessed with sending everybody to therapy. And I'm like, my therapist was telling me that 70% of the people who actually come to therapy lie. So there are only 30% that are willing to work through their actual problems because they don't even want to open up there.
Yeah.
And I think for that, it is important to find a therapist that works for you.
Yeah.
So you cannot be going and spending ridiculous amounts of money with a therapist that you don't personally like and
or
trust.
feel comfortable with.
Yeah. So I have a South Asian therapist because I feel like she's able to understand the culture, and it cannot be like, oh, just stop talking to that person because that person is toxic. We don't cut out our relationships like that, right? So I just feel that you have to have the right therapist to be then able to know yourself better.
Wow. Now, before we transition into that last piece of the onion, that self-care and who you are now, let's talk about raising your child here in America. Now, you are from India, so I'm sure it's different over there.
Yeah, very different.
Just from how to raise a child and or just how you have to carry yourself as a woman.
Yes.
How is it different here in the U.S.?
It is very different. It is I feel like nothing that I did as a child is my baby's not doing any of that. And the reason is the culture. But I feel the most important thing for a child at this age is, and especially in this time where social media filters and, it's all about, make it look good or fake it till you make it kind of situation. The child needs to be emotionally intelligent. And I think it's not like my parents were lacking anything, but they didn't know any better. Nobody was talking about mental health in the 90s. It wasn't the priority because we didn't have so much social media. We did not have so much knowledge and research. So my baby is in a different time and in a different country. And my priority as a mother is to make sure that she's emotionally intelligent. Her IQ can go up. She can Google everything. So she doesn't need to know
TikTok
the history.
Now. TikTok
exactly.
Is the new Google.
Exactly. And she doesn't need to know what year somebody captured what state or something like that. But I feel her being able to articulate her emotions and communicate effectively will be the game changer in her times. So I make sure that the books that, I'm reading to her or the things that, she's watching on TV has emotional aspect to it where she's able to express herself. So that is very different.
Wow.
I allow her to cry.
I need to maybe start letting mine cry, but sometimes the crying is like, stop crying.
Yeah.
I need you to be quiet.
It does get annoying and it's like, oh, she loves saying no. And I'm like, why did I teach her that? But it works out because our job as parents is to make sure that we raise them in a safe environment. So when they go out, they're able to blossom into good things. So I'm just trying to give her that safe space and she's allowed to say no and she's allowed to be rebellious. There is nothing wrong with a rebellious kid.
Hey, I commend it. Go ahead, girl. So now this last layer, Alyshah, this self-care, this woman who takes care of herself and not only helps everybody else, but makes sure she is okay.
Yeah.
You've experienced trauma from gun violence, being robbed, and just your own, depression and things that you had to go through. How do you take care of yourself and make sure that Alyshah is okay?
So I would say 3 things. One is prioritizing. You can have it all, but you just cannot have all at the same time. So prioritizing and understanding what is serving my purpose right now. Second is boundaries. You don't let anyone walk into your room at any time, right? But think about it. You're scrolling through Instagram and how many people are on there? How many feeds are you looking at? You wouldn't allow those people to walk in. So having boundaries with my time, having boundaries with the people that, are part of my life, having respectful boundaries with who can speak with me and how they can speak to me, like not being disrespectful. I'm not going to take that. And also like mindless scrolling and all of that doesn't happen. Like there's literally a timer that will block off my Instagram because I need self-control. So having boundaries in different areas to keep things happy, because whenever I'm outside my boundary, I end up being upset at myself or not being in my good mood or best productive mood. And the third thing that I feel is talking more and more about being vulnerable. So, if you really want to be authentic and if you really want to grow, you have to be vulnerable. If you're just going to fake it till you make it, people know these days. You cannot put filters on everything. So I'm very vulnerable and I'm very authentic. So I don't try to take things away just to make it look good. If I'm suffering, whether it's mental health or whether it's depression, I ask for help. There is nothing wrong with asking for help. A lot of times women suffer is because they don't know how to ask for help. And a lot of family members that they want to come help are saying, oh, let me carry the baby, and let me watch the baby for you. But what the mom really needs is maybe grocery picking or, cleaning the house or letting her have a shower that, really fills her up. So, asking for help and being vulnerable. You don't have to be perfect. So, just being okay and okay with making mistakes. So those are the real things that makes Alyshah.
That is truly a boss and a woman of success.
Thank you.
Alyshah, I want to thank you so much for just coming on our show and sharing the onion, that you are peeling back all these different layers. I'm not calling you an onion, but you know what I'm saying. We're peeling.
As long as I don't stink.
You do not. I mean, truly, we've learned just who you are. We've learned about your business. We've learned about your family. Yeah. And I just wish you so much success in here in Atlanta, everything that you have going on. I do want to let moms know that I am going to do a giveaway. So I want to purchase for a mom one opportunity to go to Spa Theory. So however way we can coordinate that. So for the moms, I need you guys to follow our Instagram page. And also, once you follow our Instagram page, you also have to follow Spa Theory as well and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once you are done on this post, we will have it at the bottom for you to submit the words done. I'll do a spin wheel and we will have that lucky contestant get something from Spa Theory, one service from them. So please, 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 I'll put that in the comments and description as well for you guys to know. But Alyshah, please let them know where they can follow you, where they can support everything that you have going on.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I think people can find me on Instagram. My handle is Alyshah, ALYSHAH_V as in Victor, ISHRAM. And you can also follow the company at The Spa Theory. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So mamas, you know how it is each and every week, We will see you all next week on another episode of the Millennial Mommies Club on Ebony, covering Black America Podcast Network.